All right, the final thing that I thought we might cover today is this very interesting article from the IRD, of course, attached to Mark Tooley. Center for LGBTQ plus United Methodist Heritage Kickoff. Is it a neutral shift? This is authored by Davison Drumm. I don't know who he is, but he does a good short write-up on this event. On October 23rd, the United Methodist Church General Commission on Archives and History will host, that's in 2 days, will host a kickoff celebration on the New Jersey campus of the UMC-affiliated Drew University for the new Center for LGBTQ plus United Methodist Heritage. Since the latest UMC General Conference, the denomination has defended its newly permissive sexual ethic as merely a neutral position. Although not forced, members are free, United Methodist officials insist, to support and engage in LGBTQ activity without violating biblical principles. Despite these claims, the UMC is decidedly not neutral in its approach and celebration of the LGBTQ practices. Summarized by the communications official, the Reverend Taylor Watson Burton Edwards, at the last General Conference, delegates lifted mandatory prohibitions in the denomination's Book of Discipline, yet discretion remains. Burton Edwards claims the stance to be neutral because the UMC does not actively approve homosexual relations. It merely allows them. However, the new LGBTQ Center clearly approves of homosexual relations. There is no semblance of neutrality. Skipping down just a little bit, he quotes Richard John Newhouse's law, where orthodoxy is optional, orthodoxy will sooner or later be proscribed, and that means done away with, hated, disregarded. So if you want that, I think I put that link in the show notes. Maybe I didn't. I'm forgetting. But you can look it up. The article was on juicyecumenism.com, Center for LGBTQ plus United Methodist Heritage Kickoff. So if you aren't familiar with the United Methodist layout, they have general boards and agencies. One of them is Archives and History. These are supported by the money that goes into the offering plate at local churches. Local churches are given a dollar amount called apportionments that they're expected to give to the general church. And with that money, it gets used in any number of ways. Now, the truth is that apportionments have been being used against the cultural values, religious values of local churches across America for a long time, across the world for a long time. This bureaucratic elite has been taking money that they're entrusted with by faithful little old ladies in the pews and using it to agitate in favor of abortion, in favor of new sexual ethics, in favor of all kinds of policies generally synonymous with the Democratic Party, far left wing of the Democratic Party. It's been going on for a long time. Even so, they were constrained by a lot of language that was removed at the last General Conference. And now gay marriages are allowed. Hopefully tomorrow I'm going to be looking at a clip of Bishop Samuel Quire in Liberia acknowledging this, even as he insists on them staying UMC, which is quite a scandal. They're trying to have it both ways. They're trying to keep conservatives happy by saying, look, you don't have to get gay married. You don't have to have gay marriages in your church. You don't even have to have a gay pastor, even though they pass some legislation that makes it so you can't discriminate. What's happened, the reason why this is worth talking about is there has been routine gaslighting from the far left of the UMC for a long time, just saying, we don't know what you traditionalists are so worked up about. You can still do everything exactly the same. We'll still be in happy relationship with you bigots. And it's just not true at all. They're going to continue to use money and resources and street cred that small Orthodox churches have that stay in the fold, many of them against their will because annual conferences will not let them out, have refused to let them out. They're going to use those things against you. And so this has been a real problem for a lot of local churches, many of whom have just stopped giving apportionments. This seems to be what the last couple giving reports on the denomination level seem to indicate. After the last General Conference concluded, a lot of churches just said, we can't support this anymore. So they're staying in the fold, knowing that they can't get out, being attached to these buildings and funds that the saints of previous ages have built up for God's glory, and then just trying to see if they can remain faithful within the UMC. But in the meantime, saying, We don't have any money for you. Those in leadership really don't care. They're going to use what money they've got, and they've got millions and millions in undesignated reserves that they're going to use at the altar of the rainbow flag. And that's what's going to continue to be seen. And United Methodist consciences are going to continue to be seared because of this categorical rebuke of God's righteousness in sexual ethics. So continue watching the UMC. They will continue to gaslight those who take issue with these things. And I think it's just really important that we can continue to highlight uh, y'all are routinely spitting in God's face and being in abusive relationship with those who are trying to walk rightly with God's word. And that's a bad thing.